Hey, welcome to PopPop's LitRPG world. And guess what? I have SourPatchHero with me tonight, otherwise known as Tommy Kerper. What I want to know is, Tommy, how do you feel about the fact that I visited Jay Krause's new house before you?
I am just excited that Jay had anybody else come visit him. He needs all the friends.
I don't know if that's the answer I was really going for.
He
Best
makes
friend.
fun of me. He makes fun of me because I say I believe that you can have more than one best friend. So I'm okay with the fact that you went and visited and we're able to we're both banned. We're able to hang out with him. I got to go to the housewarming party and hang out and meet his family and all his friends. It was a lot of fun.
We've just got banned.
Yeah, it's okay. I know where he lives now.
Yeah, that's true. So do I. But you are Matt Dinneman's friend, best friend.
I'm going to get a
Jay
cease and
Krause's best
desist.
friend?
I believe everybody at LitRPG is my best friend. LitRPG Con is my best friend now. That's just how it works.
Oh, that's fair enough. All right, so we have, look at that, back in the behind here, I have 3 out of 4. The second one technically is right here. And if you notice, PopPop failed to finish reading before this. Something always comes up that prevents me from reading the last 10 or 15% of a book when I want to. And I'm so invested in book 2, it just ticks me off that I don't know what's going to happen at the end. I won't skip ahead. I don't do that. So book 4 came out last week. How's the reaction to book 4?
It's been going awesome. I hesitate to comment on my frustration with only hitting number 101 on the bestsellers list. I didn't crack the top 100, which is such a stupid brag to throw out there. But I sat there watching it for a full day. I mean, the sales have been amazing. I've seen a few reviews come through that seem to be positive. I've had a few people tell me that it's another cliffhanger ending, which I did not intend and do not think that it really was that much of a cliffhanger. Not as much as book 2 was. Sorry for the next 10% of your book there, PopPop. But yeah, no, it's been going great. The writing's been flowing on and off for book 5. So that's 5 to 10 chapters left, and that will be turned in for editing in the next 2 weeks.
And
hopefully.
Is there an estimated time of publishing on that?
I want to say it's either July or August. I briefly remember
you realize
thinking
that Jay Krause will have 15 more books published by then.
Yes, I understand. I do simultaneous releases, and Nick Podell's schedule only allows for one book every 6 or 7 months. So my writing speed works perfectly with getting onto Nick Podell's schedule. But I am actually working on my next. I almost said my next series. I'm working on my next 2 series as I'm continuing to write book 6, which will be the finale of I'm Not the Hero.
And that'll be released by 2030.
I hope to have that one completely finished. If I can get it done in time, I would love for another December release next year. So Christmas will end Daniel and Oren's adventure, and we'll see what happens.
Such mystery. So you're 2 series now. One of them is supposed to be darker.
Yeah, so I have an idea for I'm calling it Cultivation Light. It's more He Who Fights with Monsters than Steel Foundations. Just a little bit of cultivation thrown in there. It's a revenge story. It's a more adult. It is an adult, not a 17-year-old boy. And it's definitely got a little bit of a darker undertone. I wanted it to have just a little bit more grit. And I'm having a blast writing it. Of course, while writing it, I had another idea for a VMMO. Guy lives works in a a virtual reality video game, and that's all I want to say about that one right now. But I'm having so much fun planning and plotting that one out a little bit. Yeah, I had another idea, Jay. It's every time I sit down and start writing on one, I'm like, ooh, but I could start working on this other story instead because I have so many ideas running around. And then I have to sit back down and finish out Daniel and Oren's story, which is I love it, but it's like I don't have enough time in the day to write all three of the books I want to be writing right now.
So either on Rural Road or Patreon, whatever, you're going to start Tony's story, right? It can be like a Satao or maybe a Satao light.
You know, I've had so many people request it. I'm sure that in a few years I'll have that itch to get back to the world, and it'd be fun. Like I could do so much more of I could explore so much more of the world building that I've already created for Asmia, for the world that Oren and Daniel are in. And I could do like maybe a failed hero, because there were some before, heroes that were summoned for different reasons that had smaller quests or didn't quite make it. But Tony's story is definitely all arced out. You do find out a little bit more about it in book 5 for anybody who might be a Patreon. There's a little bit more information, but enough freedom and wiggle room that I could write maybe a nice little novella or something about it. And I'd never say never.
No. Series.
I don't.
4 books.
I mean, it could be fun because his whole life is basically freak of the week, finding a mind mage or aspiring mind mage and either helping rehabilitate or kill them. Like that's his whole job, which is kind of a darker part of the world that I don't want to. I'm just laughing at all of Jay's comments. What's a novella? Yeah.
So I asked you this before real quick. What is the most, what did I say it was? What's the most OP skill you've ever created and why?
I will tell you Mind Bastion, and I will say it's the most OP for reasons unknown. I don't want to ruin anything in the future for you, but it's definitely one of the skills that I had thought of pretty hard starting off in the beginning. There's a lot more to it than even Oren understands or uses, and hopefully I'll be able to pull that string all the way through the story. So that's definitely my favorite. Yeah.
Okay. Oren is the hero, in my humble opinion. Although he is a utility warder, yes, he tagged along into the Isekai situation with the truck gun. Why does he not? Why can't he claim to be the hero? Just because of his utility warderness? Because he's scared? Because he wants to hang out? What's the rationale behind Oren remaining behind the scenes?
So Daniel is the classic hero of the story. Like he's the one who has been summoned to defeat the demon lord. He's the one, he's the popular guy. He's the one who everybody likes. He's the face of the party. And Oren was never supposed to be that guy. But I think part of the story that I'm telling or that I'm trying to tell is that you don't have to be the quote unquote hero to do heroic things. And as his story progresses, Oren starts to gain confidence in himself and starts to realize that he might not be the hero class, but that doesn't mean he can't be a hero in whatever actions or whatever plot or whatever story he is currently in, which is something that, not to get too spoilery on you, but something he really starts to work on in book 3. Book 4 really sees him kind of start stepping into his own confidence and starting to realize that, Daniel is my best friend and he is the hero, but sometimes he makes really bad decisions and I'm going to step up and I'm going to be the one who solves this problem, which is where I've wanted to get the entire time. And yeah.
And you're almost there.
Yeah.
Very good. You write really nice dungeons. I will tell you that. I like the dungeons in this book. I like the dungeons in book one. They are all different. They're unique, and you just never know what's going to come up. Um, they're not as crazy as dungeons with 100 floors or towers. You have the 10 for the first dungeon in this book. In book two, you handled it well. Some were very easy. Some, they just had to, get through as quickly as they could. And you write them in such a way that it doesn't get bogged down. And I really appreciate the way you do those stories. And especially if going back, I have to think back to book one, because that was pre-con, before we got to meet. And even then, you wrote nicely intense the fight scenes, the evil people for the Wendowns, the dragoons that got co-opted or whatever, the evil, that was just great. I mean, when Oren sucked away her constitution.
Yeah.
I mean, and the shock and all, more or less. I mean, that was just all well done. Thank you for writing those stories.
Thank you.
They are nice stories, and the key thing. And I don't know if you can babble in here, or anyone can second guess me or poo me, but you've managed. When to go in detail, and when to skip. Mm-hmm. 10 hours later, we did this. So you're not going to force us to go through everything over and over and over again. I don't know if that's you or your editor, but sorry.
No. So no, that's me. When I send it to my editor, it's basically just copy, like line editing. Like they'll catch my commas or some misspelled words. Occasionally they'll say, "Hey, you did your math wrong," and the 3 times that's happened, I have argued back, "No, I did not," and I've been right. I just showed them where they missed something. My writing process is weird. As prolific as Jay is in his writing, and he writes so much and so well, my writing is also unique in that I very rarely do editing. I write my chapters, I do a quick grammar check, and then I post it. And I don't really think about where my story is going to go next. When I'm writing that chapter, I'm just like in that scene doing what I feel needs to be said at that point. I'm a big pantser. And I think a lot of that comes from, I've been playing D&D for 13, 14 years, I think at this point. And for a very large portion of that, I was the dungeon master. I was the guy coming up with the story. I couldn't really get into running modules. So I created entire worlds and ran 2 or 3 different groups through years-long campaigns where I made up stories and worlds, and I think that's what kind of jump-started my wanting to write something like what I was creating for them down. And when you play a lot of Dungeons and Dragons or do improv or just write a lot, you start to find the rhythm to the story. It doesn't always need to be action, although I know book one has a lot of that. There does need to be times when you can slow down and talk and have your discussions. There does need to be times when you skip over the training montage that you don't need a third one of in your book. Not saying that it doesn't work in other stories. It just wasn't what would have worked for me in the story I wanted to tell. But yeah, I appreciate the love for the dungeons, because I have so much fun going in and writing those. I feel like I could do those I could write an entire book of them going through a dungeon. I just don't know if anybody would want to read 400 pages of them going through I think I have 120 level dungeon in the world, which I know in one of the books they go into at least for a little while, but I don't know if I ever want them to go and have to do an entire massive dungeon crawl like that, just because that wouldn't advance the story of for Orin, and that's who this story is. There might be
Ha!
a
I
time
was
when
right. I knew it.
there might be a time when they want to do a dungeon or they go and do another dungeon. I mean, I'm actually positive they will, but it just won't be. Let's. It won't be a chapter, a level, going through one floor for each chapter for 60 chapters. That would just be,
That would be kind of brutal.
yeah, I don't think I would write that. And I don't think anybody would want to read that. And if you do, that's awesome. There's 100 books out there that you can go find, but it's not going to
There's
be
a lot
about
of
it.
there's a lot of tower
Yeah.
climbers that do just that. So, but
Hmm.
but again, that's potentially a different type of story.
Hmm.
So, I mean, even Kenny King, who's my favorite system optimization author, had his character do a hundred floor climb.
Which is
Um,
awesome. I've read,
yeah,
I mean, oh man, I read one like a month or two ago, and I can't remember the life of me what ultimate level. They do a lot of
ultimate level does a lot of
yeah,
dungeons, especially in the
yeah,
first book, and
yeah.
they're good. They're all different.
It's amazing. It's
Yes,
incredible. But I don't. That's not what I wanted my story to be about. And they go into dungeons and they get their things happen when they're in the dungeons. But it's not the dungeon isn't in and of itself a main story plot that I really want to investigate with this party. Who knows? Maybe at some other point I'll come back and write Tony going into a dungeon. Yeah, I'm sure he needs it to learn a few mind tricks.
that's always a good thing. Do we have any other questions other than the really snarky comments from Jay Krause, author? He's an author, is he? I Let's see. Sometimes we just don't know if he's actually saying anything good or really review Max or area comments about how much they hate dungeon arcs. No one hates dungeon arcs. Everyone loves dungeon arcs.
Some people, I got a few comments like, "Dang, when is this gonna end?" And I I have moved away from reading reviews and comments. When I first started, I responded to every single comment on Royal Road for the first two books, um, and then I just started. It wasn't good for my health. I was spending more time worrying about what other people thought than what I wanted the story to be, and I was losing my joy for writing. So I've really stepped away from that. But yeah, there are a lot of people who do not like dungeons. But yeah, it's oh, hi Austin. Sorry, I told him I'd say hi.
If they don't like their dungeons, they can write their own stories.
Exactly.
And if they don't like the way you write things, go read somebody else on Royal Road.
I mean, I have. Don't get me wrong. I love being able to do this as my day job, but I'm still a licensed attorney, and I could go back to work tomorrow if it
Yeah.
all fell apart. This is my summer vacation. I'm living my dream right now, and as long as people want to keep reading the stories that I want to tell, awesome. Come along for the ride, guys. I'm having a blast. I hope you do too.
Let's
Nope.
see.
If you don't like Hannah, you can go to hell. Yeah.
I love this is Austin. I love the dungeons, and I'm not the hero. I'd like a future arc of Maddie completing a dungeon. What do you
Well,
think?
I won't ruin anything, but I'm planning at least one more dungeon with the core four at least. So yeah, Maddie has some history with dungeons,
We knew
some problems, some resolutions that she needs to have. So that's part of her story arc that I hope to be able to find and complete in the maybe book 5, book 6. We'll see.
But see, now you let something slip that I don't know.
I believe you do. think it's in book 1 or 2 where Maddie talks about losing her mom.
No, I know that. No, that I
Yeah.
know. That I know.
Mhm.
But you said the core 4.
Yes. So
Lauren, Maddie,
Oren,
and
Maddie, Daniel, um,
Amir.
and then whoever you want the 4th to be.
Whoever want the 4th one to be? No, what? There's a core 4 that I'm not aware of.
I
Is
mean,
that correct?
they're really the core 3, and then
Red
we'll
shirts?
see. Yeah, then whoever tags along on their adventure.
Whatever. I still hate you. Jay
Finish book
Krause,
2.
remember,
Finish book 2.
I tried. It's going to be a fun crucifixion, Jay. You have to work that in somewhere. Remember,
Oh God,
it's a good saying.
it is.
So one of the things that when I read Salvage System and I did an interview with Nick Sansbury Smith, and that was kind of a brutal story. There is a diminishing amount of salvagers, and they just basically died. And he and Nick just didn't care, more or less. I mean, I think if you would ever adapt that into a book, all these other salvagers would be wearing red shirts, and they just all died. So hopefully you don't have the same thing happening down the road with your people.
I mean, we'll see who makes it to the end. I will say that there's some people who I thought would die at various points who have survived, and there are people who I did not think would. It's gone both ways, and like I said, a lot of my writing is just seeing where the characters go. I know where I want them to end up, and how and in what shape of health they get there is up to them. Um, but yeah, no, I try not to kill anybody just for the sake of killing them. But there's definitely been, if you're watching this, hopefully you've read book 1. There's somebody who dies in book 1 who, until I actually got to that scene, I was like, I don't know if I want this person to I don't want their story to end, because there's other parts of their story that I really want to tell. And I probably will never be able to, because you'll never know all of the things that happened that led to him in that situation, and why
You
he was.
mean
Yeah.
him?
Yeah,
That guy?
him. Yeah. So it's like you don't know, which is part of what's fun of writing these stories, is discovering who the characters are, what their motivations are, and letting them live with the consequences of who they are. Which that's just what a writer does.
So here is one of the things that it's always intrigued me. I am a consumer.
Mhm.
I consume books. I read books. I love to read, and I read a lot of different types in our genre. And remember, I've only been in this genre since January because of those books right up there. You create characters, and you know exactly everything that they're going to do, but that's not true, because characters grow on their own. They become their own. They speak to you in your brain and say, yeah, Tommy, I ain't doing that. How does that happen? How does a character that you've create for a specific purpose or a specific story become something different? How does a side character, maybe an Amir, become something more than a side character, which I don't know yet, but how does that happen to you? Aren't you in charge of everything?
So I am, and what's fun is I will write characters fully expecting to have them be throwaway characters, and then something about writing them just like tugs at my heart, and I'm like, ooh, I really like this person, and then they stick around, and then I'll have characters who I personally love, and I want to like write so much more about them, and then I can never find a way to write them back in. Tin, in book 1, Tin, who is on the team with Emily and Garrett, I had huge plans for Tin. I don't know. I highly doubt I will ever write Tin back into the story, just because there's no point to having that person in the story.
But he was
For
a way to get Emily and
yeah,
Garrett in.
yeah, Tin was
So,
the mechanism for having that team. And actually, when I was writing that book too, I think I put on my Patreon, "Hey everybody, I'm about to have them have 2 of the 3 people from that team join up and run this dungeon. It's going to be Tin, Emily, or Garrett. Who would you guys like to see?" And I let them vote on who they wanted, because I was like, "Oh, Tin's going to win for sure." Tin lost by a landslide. And
hmm.
that's why you get Emily and Garrett, is because I let my Patreons vote for it. It's the only
Watch
time
it.
I've ever done that. But it
Not
was
gonna let that
fun.
happen again.
Yeah, no. I mean, honestly, I had a blast letting them figure out who was going to be there, because I didn't know where those two characters' story would bring them. Um, and I thought I'd be able to work Tin back in, but I'd thought Maddie was going to be a throwaway character. I was like, spoiled princess, that will ruffle a few feathers, and then maybe she'll be like a on again, off again thorn in their side. And I started writing her, and I was like, I actually kind of like who she is as a person. Like, she's very stubborn. She's very opinionated and thinks she's right. And it's because of her upbringing. And I was like, that's a great dynamic to work against, these 2 modern
Oh yeah.
boys who are going to be like, no, we respect you and you're cool, but also we're not going to let you walk all over us. Which then let me think about how I wanted to continue her story. And it's like, well, I mean, obviously she's going to have character growth. She's going to start learning to be part of a team. She's going to learn what real friendship is. She's going to learn how to take criticism and grow as a person. And hopefully, for people who've read, further on, I hope that she's been able to grow on people. But people hated Maddie at first. I got lots of fun comments about how terrible she was, which just made me double down and be like, yeah, I'm going to write even more about her because I like her. So if it's pissing you off, cool. Like,
You're doing something
that's,
right.
yeah.
Yeah, we get that sense a lot from you authors when you have to double down and do stuff.
I
We
feel
know who
like
you're
if
talking
you I feel like if you really want an author to write more about somebody, you just tell them you don't like that person. Like, if everybody came up to me and was like, "Yeah, fuck that Tony guy. Like, he's the worst." I'd be like, "Oh, well, Tony's coming back with a vengeance then. Like, I will
Well, as
write
he
him."
should. God darn it!
No,
Seriously,
it
3 books.
I think we're all
Podium
just
will publish it.
obstinate. We're also obstinate about our characters, that when people are like, "Oh, I really don't like that character," we're like, "Well, we have to prove to you why they are the best, whoever that character is."
Hannah is terrible. I hate her. Uh-huh. Yeah. I just had to go down a little bit. We know that's enough to set Jay Krause, to you know nuke someplace. So,
I've met Hannah. I will be right there with Jay.
well, I guess I'll
J-
meet her in July
yes, you will.
at
She'll
high
be there.
tea or low tea or whatever tea we happen to go on. Um, so the magic system or Oren's system. Oren freaked the system out when he popped in.
Yep.
Didn't know what to do with them in
Hmm.
any way, shape, or form. So, how did it go from 1,000 potential classes to just the one? How did
Uh,
it get to utility water being the class for Oren?
so there's a lot that happens in that first interaction with the system. That There's a lot that happens in that first interaction with the system. I think I touched on it a little bit in book 5. I know I'll be talking more about it in book 6. Um, But essentially, once he unlocked that administrator system, he was able to interact with it in a certain way. So, at first it was like, here's all of the possible things. And as he starts to think about it, like, oh, well, here are the things that I do or don't want, it started trying to narrow down what he wanted until it created the new class utility warder for him. Um, that entire first opening sequence, I had planned when I started writing this, I knew how I wanted it to start and I knew how I wanted it to end. And I knew like 3 or 4 little beats that I thought I was going to hit. I think 2 of them even changed. Like they're no longer storylines that are interesting or relevant to what's going on. But the main thrust of the story was the same. And there's a lot in book 1 that I hope that when people read the end of book 6, they're like, oh my God, I got to go back and reread this whole series again, because there's so many little things that I try to, little breadcrumbs that I leave throughout the whole series that I'm hoping I'm able to pull it off at the end, that people will be like, oh shit, he told us and we didn't catch it. But it's really fun watching him figure out how to use the system, how to use his administrator, being an administrator, um, which is something you are starting to. I mean,
Starting
like,
to see.
yeah,
Starting to
it slowly ramps up. But like you said earlier, the first real big moment was when he's fighting um, Whip Girl. I forget what her name is. Samara.
Yes, Sumerian book 1, yeah.
Yes. And he's able to, steal her constitution, which is not something people are supposed to be able to do. Um, and learning the extra powers that he's got along the way, because he might not be the hero, but he does
He
have,
is.
yeah, he's the hero. He's the hero of my story. He
There
just
you
might
go.
not be the hero of the story being told in the world.
That makes sense. Of course, I just had an entire other question to ask you, but we just blew that out of my mind because I'm old. Remember, I'm a boomer, and boomers don't remember everything, but we try our best. Yeah, so that one's gone. That happens. Book 1, book 2, I'm finishing up. Book 3 is coming up. Probably, truthfully, I'm going to have to read a James A. Hunter book real quick. Other than Discount Dan and Cul-de-sac Carnage, since I'm having him come visit on Thursday. And I just have to do that, but I'll get back to 3. And I do have to read book 2 of Bosler's book, because SJ and Dave are pretty daggone amazing.
Well, I'm fully expecting a message from you at like 2 a.m. God damn it, Tommy. Because you're going to finish book 2. You're going to finish book 2. I've gotten this quite a few times. You're going to finish book 2 and you're going to have to pick up book 3.
Is that what happens?
Yeah.
Bosler delivers the love. I expected Bosler to be there. It took me 2:00 there. He could have stayed up on a school night to come and listen to us.
Oh, so late.
So what are you reading?
Right now, I'm reading. Oh God! So I'm reading Jay's second book in Wodi, which I've been. My wife stole the Kindle back, so Luckily, Jay has been feeding me bits and pieces of his new VMMO story, which I'm not gonna say because I don't want to get Jay locked in on that title, but it's amazing.
Jay, is that the one you sent me a little bit of? You can make a comment.
The dwarf picture?
Yeah.
Yes. It's oh man, it's good. I just read Quest Academy 5, caught up, and God, Brian is ridiculous. It's series so good. Ultimate Level. I read a few of those. I listened to all the skills when I drove down to Dragon Con, which, you know,
I
there's
really
5.
enjoyed that first book. I did, and so
Yeah,
I'll
I
get to the other
don't
ones.
do audiobooks very often, but it was like a 12-hour drive or something, so I popped it in, listened to it, and I got all the way down there, and instead of sleeping, I pulled up the Kindle on my phone and also downloaded that, found my spot, and kept reading it. But yeah, no, it was incredible. Honestly, I've been going through like a Kindle kick with on when I can steal it away. I really should get my own. Um,
There you
just
go.
busting through all these books, and yeah.
I've just remembered what I was going to talk about because you
Okay.
talked about the audiobooks. So I listened to parts of book one. You guys, everyone knows that I am not an auditory book listener. I just doesn't do much for me,
Yeah.
especially first time through. But I will tell you, whenever I read any skill or any asset in the book, I go dimension hole. I have Nick Padell. I loved that. I know everyone hated it, or many people hated it. Dimension hole. I just do it. It's just I love the way Nick does it and did it in book one. So I know
I
it got changed eventually, right?
Yeah,
That's
it got a lot of people reviewing it, saying they didn't like it when
yeah.
book
What do they
one
know?
came out, and so Podium went ahead and changed how that happened in book two. I don't have anything to do with the not. I don't have anything to do with the audiobook narration. I write the book, I give it over to Podium, and basically at that point, as long as they're like, "You don't have to fix any edits," it's out of my hands, which is the way I like it. Like I was writing this at night while my family was asleep and I was working full time. Like I never expected to be doing interviews about my silly stories at 8:30 at night on a Monday. Like this is freaking awesome. Um, but yeah, no, I fully thought like, oh, they'll send it off, and maybe I'll make like $100 over the course of next year from like the 4 people who buy it. And I mean, I quit my job. I'm doing this now, so obviously they did
I think
something right. And
I think that quitting the job was a really good, well timed event. I'm just saying. I'm not making any editorial comments about that. Well done, Tommy Kerper. Well
yeah,
done.
not having to go back into the office was really nice. I got
So yeah,
out,
so I just have it in my head now. I have,
which is, I mean,
which is fine and dandy.
I I'm the same way as you. Like it's very hard for me to listen to an audiobook unless I'm doing like a really long distance drive where I don't with nobody in the car so I don't have to pay attention to anything, which never happens because I've got a family and kids.
Yep.
Like
Yep.
that trip to Atlanta was the first time I've been in a car like that in 10 years. Um but I do when they send me like the clips, they send me the earlier audiobook so that I can kind of listen and see if there's anything that I think I'm going to want to change. Which I have no opinion. I don't think I've ever told them, "Oh no, I don't like the way that person sounds." I trust Nick. He goes and does an amazing job. But I do now hear his voice or his voices for certain characters, and it's so much fun when I'm writing, and I'll be like, humming to myself in like a little accent. I'm like, oh wait, that's completely because Nick gave that person that voice, and now that's all I can hear.
Right. So Iron Eyes asks, "Are you going to Jordan Con, Tommy?"
I am
Nice
not.
answer.
I am not. I didn't apply this year. I am doing LitRPG Con this year. I've applied to a few more like local ones. I just did Dragon Con, which was such an amazing experience, and I had so much fun. But when I got back, I was dead. Like it was 5 days on my feet in the booth. I had a panel which was absolutely phenomenal. I got to hang out with Matt Dinneman for a little bit, which was fun. I mean, like I had a great time. Um, but it was too long away from my family. It was too much on my body. Because I'm in my late 30s. I'm not a young chicken anymore. It's hard. So I was like, nah, I'm not going to do that. I think I will try to go to Jordan Con next year. I mean, if they let me, we'll see.
You have to read
But
all the
yeah,
books.
yeah, I have to read all the Wheel of Time books, I guess, if I'm going to
Not
do it.
me.
But yes, I will be at LitRPG Con. I'm looking at a few other cons in the Virginia, Washington, D.C., Maryland area. Just, if they're closer, it's not as hard.
Right.
So we'll see.
There you go.
Mhm.
And you and Jay can always meet halfway down 95 somewhere and have a con just for yourselves.
Yeah,
Because you
I mean,
always for each other.
we did Virginia Comic-Con in Richmond a few weekends ago. We just sat there all day. Nobody knew who we were. It was just a comic convention. I don't think there was another author within like 400 feet of us. And we sold a few books. I mean, mostly we just sat there and chatted, which was fun. And I do see I'll get more opportunities to lose at the credit card game. I mean, I got away with paying for the convention, so I'd say we're almost even now.
Well, he's paying for high tea, so we all have to go to high tea. It's going to be some sort of maybe a wedding gift or something. I don't know, but
okay.
He's covering that cost, so I'll definitely go and get some tea or read that. There is. Let's see. So it's just going to be you at LitRPG Con. So you're going to get to celebrate an event.
Yeah. So they changed the dates, and my birthday falls over that weekend. So I will be having my birthday with all of you guys in Denver, which will be a super fun time. And we'll just let that go under the radar. We don't need to do anything about that. It'll just be fun.
We will make sure that everyone knows about it. So
great.
That's all there is to it. What is he talking about now? Oh, feel good to chow. We're not doing.
I mean, Iron Eyes, I try to pay for myself. I'm an adult too. Jay is just a ninja. He throws his card or cash at bartenders before you can pay. And it's a thing. He thinks it's funny.
I think it just makes him feel powerful or something like that. Puts him in control.
Yeah, because he's such a tiny little guy.
We know that's not true.
We know that's not true now. Jay towers over all of us.
Especially, well, the only reason he towers over us all is because he coiffs his hair better than most of us. So.
Does he coif it or does Sydney do it? I'm very short.
I don't have to coif. I just go like this and I'm done. Put a little product in and, it's easy and done. So who does it? Jay, you or Sydney? I'm not sure.
Oh, God.
And all right. So what questions do you have for the audience? What questions do you have for PopPop? What do you want to know?
What do I want to know?
Yeah.
Or the audience? Also,
you're grossly overestimating how much effort goes in. I think it just happened,
Okay, I'll put this one out there. Tell me, guys, what should I write next? Should I write my VMMO or should I write my Revenge Portal fantasy? I know that doesn't really give you much to go on, but I've got two ideas.
Is the VMMO? You say there's somebody in the game. Is it a someone from our world or a world that's in the game as an
Yeah.
NPC or a writer, or does
Okay,
he
so
pay to
I'll
go
give
in?
you the I'll give you the small pitch. So and Jay, it is not VR MMO, and that's why I've purposely been calling it VMMO, because instead of virtual reality, um, it's a guy for it's the future of our world where the economy has collapsed, people graduate, they have no jobs. Oh wait, that's now. They have nothing
Post
that they can
post
do.
post scarcity.
Yes. And so a lot of people start playing video games for companies, thinking that they're, like they did in for WoW, you would mine gold and you'd sell gold. They think they're doing something like that. But what they end up doing, they end up finding out, is that these worlds that they're sending them to in a virtual reality type of video game are actually real. And they've figured out a way to cast your consciousness to a whole nother world where they've 3D printed a body for you to use. And then you run around gathering materials to be teleported back to our world for use. Um, but that's all like the huge hush hush secret that the main character finds out. The worlds that they've been finding are very much, Minecraft-esque. You go, you mine a world, you get up all of the materials, and then you leave it desolate and barren. But there were no, people there, so who cares? They finally find a world with other people, and that world has magic. And so my main character is now going to, one, be running from the companies who know that he knows that it's all real. He's also going to be trying to log back in to help the natives against the company who's trying to take over, and also getting magic himself on Earth through this shared consciousness. His body will slowly adapt, and he'll be able to use magic, which of course changes the entire landscape of people wanting to play this game to maybe potentially gain magic themselves. And yes, I just have seen Ready Player One, Avatar, and Ender's Games. All of those are like huge inspirations in how I will probably be pitching this. Ready Player One meets Avatar meets Ender's Game. Very much just this, flustered running main character trying to figure out which of the paths he should take and what's more important to him: saving this other world, saving his own life, or gaining magic.
Pop-up Ghost Revenge Portal. Sounds easier.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
the Revenge Portal, I think, is going to be a series. I think the VR MMO series would be a little bit more. If I could pull it off in a single book, that's what I would try to do. Um, but if not, just a small trilogy. Whereas the Revenge Portal, I'm scoping out, I think, at least 10 books. I want that one to be like big, epic, sweeping story with consequences and lots of progression.
Maybe the VMMO could be just a series of novellas.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna write them both eventually. They're the stories that I've got stuck in my head now, and it's like I take every Monday now to work on those or plot out the ideas. I'm plotting now for the first time. I blame Haylock Jobson for telling me about Obsidian. It's a author writing tool, which is helping me actually plot for once,
Ugh,
a
why?
little bit. because I've done the whole pantsing and I've been doing it for 4 years now, and it's like I'm wondering, maybe I should try the other way, see which one I like more.
Slow you down more, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. You
yeah.
don't need that. You need to speed up. You need
I
more,
don't need
more,
to
and
speed
more.
up. Listen, just because Jay can write at this incredible speed doesn't mean we all have to. You guys can all read all of Jay's books in between while I plod along and have fun writing my silly stories. As I try to steal your
Wow.
ideas.
Wow.
I will say, I will give Jay this. He told me about his VR MMO game idea, and literally the next day, my idea came to me. So it was very much he was talking about how those types of game stories have to come back, and how it's in the cyclical nature of our genre, how video game stories are definitely going to be the next big thing. And I was like, oh, that would be cool. I haven't really read one of those in a while. And then I was like, oh, that's an idea. So
Does that mean we
maybe
can bring EQ back?
EQ?
Yes.
What's EQ?
Original EverQuest from 1999.
You'll have to talk to Jay about that. I'm sure he's got a version of it on his massive, crazy computer.
Which the screen's utterly amazing. It takes up
Oh my god,
whole back wall. It is.
I was so jealous, so jealous. At that in his keyboard, I'm gonna have to build a keyboard now. I've just got like a Target keyboard. I didn't know they make these amazing things that are just like
Amazon $9.99.
Yeah, PopPop. That's how I roll. And then Jay let me sit down at his computer, and I was like, damn it. This is really nice.
Jay Krause always goes big.
Yeah.
It just, I think it, offset his shortness. So everything else has to be big. The house,
No, I honestly, like, I know we pick on him, but I could not be happier to have made so many great friends at LitRPG Con, but also, like, I joke, Jay is one of my best friends now. It's fun to hang out with him. His stories are incredible. He writes so much. It is inspiring. So if anybody's here and hasn't read his series, you need to go immediately and read it. Both of them, both series. He's got a third that he's writing now. This guy is going to take over our entire genre. So yeah.
Well,
go see him at Jordan Con.
At least one half of the genre.
Oh yeah. Well, all
always,
the rest of us are working together to try to keep our book count half of the entire LitRPG genre, because we know Jay is taking over the rest.
I just want to know if Jay Krause can do a properly crunchy LitRPG story.
Oh, I'm sure he can. The guy's, I mean, he writes code all day. I'm sure he could just create some incredible system where he just pushes the button. And actually, I will say, it's not, I wouldn't say it's like devil's
I'll read the
crunchy.
PDF.
You should. It's the crunchiest series he's written so far. Lots of math and experience and levels up and putting points into different things. So it's definitely a departure from Leon and that magic system. So it's incredible. He's doing a great job. I haven't caught one error yet, which makes me mad. I want to catch one of his math errors.
You probably can't.
No.
So he's that way. It just can't be helped. So what else is going on? Anybody else have anything that they want to know, want to ask? Give it time. I don't do math.
Only vibes. See, I've done math, and now I'm gonna try vibes. That's what my cultivation revenge one's gonna be. Just lots of I feel like I've leveled up. I say that now. I know I'm gonna end up putting
you have to have some rational decision behind what you do or what happens.
I know. I'm such a tabletop role playing kind of person. Like I love that. I sit there and make characters that I'm never going to use just because it's fun to do the math and figure out what the best optimization would be.
Do you have a favorite regression with RPG?
Regression as in go back to the beginning and start over?
Yeah, pre-apocalypse and...
Oh, God. So it's not it is a book. I don't know how to... it's called Omniscient Reader. And I read it as a terrible translation. I want to say it's Korean. And it was I read the translated book, and then I found that they made it into a manga, which is on Webtoon, which I've read again, the whole thing did. But the main character, it's actually similar to I'm Not the Hero in that the main character is the side character, not the hero. The hero, who's the guy who regresses, every time he dies, he's able to start the whole apocalypse over again and go back to the beginning and try to do it better. Well, the main character has been reading the book has been reading this book for like 10 years, and the book is about the hero who keeps going back over and over and over. And he's read, like, I think it's like 90 something times that this guy has tried different variations to get to the end. And then suddenly he finishes the book and it says the end. And then the apocalypse has started, pops up in real life. And he's on the train with the guy who he's been reading about for 10 years. And he's suddenly
Yeah,
living
just
it. It's so good. It's incredible. Yes, he's not the hero. Come on, Jay. But yeah, no, it's an incredible story. The light novel's amazing. The webtoon is, I think it has to be done by now. It's been going on for years. But yeah, that's probably my favorite regression.
I have to date. I've only read one regression, and that is Return of the Wind Mage by Dominic Ruiz, who is from Immersive Inc. He now has, I think he has 3 different series or titles out. And the thing to me is that when you have the regressor, I mean, he does some innovative things to keep the regressors from really controlling everything or knowing everything or being able to disclose everything. But the plan of a regressor never survives contact with the apocalypse, because the apocalypse will just do whatever it can to progress its
That's
own agenda.
every time the main character of omniscient reader's viewpoint, every time he tries to solve one problem, it escalates and shortens the time to the next problem. Usually he's supposed to have a week before the next problem. Well, if he solves it like he solves it, he now only has 2 days. So it's this constant escalation of pressure all the way up through like the god levels, which is a lot of fun.
Yeah, and truthfully, I've never done manga or anime or any of that. Just
See,
some.
I started on manga. I didn't even really know a lot of. I started reading manga and light novels. I've watched anime all my life, and then I was talking with a friend while we were at a poker party. We were playing poker, and he said, "Oh yeah, you're a reader. I just started reading this great web novel, and it's called Worm." And I was like, "I have no idea what a web novel is." And if you haven't read Worm, when you have a year to sit down and read a book, I think it's like the size of like 14 Bibles. It's insanely huge. It's crazy, and it's an amazing web serial. But I never didn't know that existed, and I
And
after
they
reading.
and it's never been transformed to any other medium.
So Worm, um, he's almost published it like 3 or 4 times, but he wants to like have it perfectly edited before he puts it up. But when I finished Worm, I went and read I found Royal Road, and that's what started my love of lit RPG, the genre, and just going down the wormhole of Royal Road, which
Yeah,
eventually led me to writing I'm Not the Hero. Um,
because even on Road Road, they have Delve, and
which is
Delve
one of my
has
all-time
yeah,
favorite.
it's as long. It's just as long. It's never going to leave Road Road, apparently.
Yeah, because
So
he's writes it as a passion project, and that's
yeah.
what I'm Not the Hero was. I was never when Podium reached out to me and they're like, "Hey, were you planning on publishing this?" I was like, "No." They're like, "But you've got so many people reading it." I was like, "Yeah, but I don't want to take the time out of my day to learn how to format and put it up on Amazon. Like it was never something I was thinking about. And so I was like, yeah, sure. If you want to do it for me, go for it. Which changed my freaking life. But it's Worm by Wildbow is the story of a world where people get superpowers. Like some people have been randomly, suddenly getting superpowers. And this girl wakes up and she can control bugs. That's it. She can control bugs. And it sounds like the stupidest, worst superpower ever until it is absolutely the most overpowered superpower ever. And it's her journey trying to be a hero, but being cast as a villain in certain situations. She just always seems to seem like she's the bad guy. And it's her journey. Again, I think she's like in high school when it starts, and it's just this massive continent, global spanning story with lots of death. I think there's one big fight scene where Wildbow has said he was rolling dice to see if people survived or not, and he killed a lot of people who I would not have had the balls to kill. Like it was just insane. But yeah, I highly, highly recommend that. It's a really fun one.
Insectomancy is absolutely, well, just because of the sheer volume of bugs and arachnids and insects and everything that exist.
And it's definitely progression in that when she starts off, it's a very small amount of insects, and as it gets as the story progresses and she grows in power, it becomes terrifying. All of the I mean, you can't. I could not have come up with half of the ways that she uses her bugs to do everything she does in the story. And I don't want to ruin it, but there are scenes that are just like, yeah.
So, how many books do you have on Railroad that you want to read? Other than the 4,000 that I follow and say, read later, read later, read later.
I follow so many, and I have promised so many people that I'm going to read theirs too. And I normally read an insane amount of books each year, and I have not been able to read as much as I want to this past year, and it's driving me since July, August is driving me crazy. As I told you before we jumped on, this next week for the first time, I don't have something due or going somewhere. I'm not like going to Disney with my family. Like we did our big family Disney trip for the first time. All of these things that have been taking away from my reading time, and I'm just like, yes, I cannot wait to finally like catch up to Jay so that I can rub it in his face that I read all his books before he read all of mine. And catch up on Royal Road and read all of the stories that I want to. I mean, I haven't read Delve in 4 months, and yeah, he was on hiatus for a while, but I still have some chapters to catch up on.
I think I read 2 pages so far, but because I just got into it, I'm like, okay, all right, that's cool, okay, fine, but I don't have time to invest, And
it's amazing.
Runny Bunny one, I haven't actually. I just heard about Raw Road at LitRPG Con. Yeah, so did I. It was stumbling up. I rec well that I learned about Raw Road and read the first Raw Road. Now that he's done book 1, and he's going to do a cover reveal tomorrow at 8:00 on Chat and Stats YouTube channel. So keep an eye out for that. And he's actually doing Rose Reynolds tomorrow as well for an interview on the Chat and Stats. I think he calls it Author's Corner. So keep an eye out for that. There's going to be a cover reveal for that. Everyone knows, at least Jay knows, the author of, or the cover artist. It's going to be amazing. I can just tell. I've already seen it. It's so cool.
Yes.
And
that's one of those ones that's on my list. I read, I want to say the first 15 or 20 chapters as they were writing them. And then I wasn't able to keep up with reading.
Well,
But you
it
know what?
happened.
I'm gonna buy it as soon as it gets released. So, and
Yeah,
then I'll sit
well, you
down.
better send me one. God damn it. I didn't say that, Rec. I did not say that. Where's my Royal Roads? I want to point it out. There's one I did want to point out. I probably deleted it by accident again. No, there it is up here. All right. So is it Build, Fight, Survive? And that's by Fiddle Soup. Yeah, Build, Fight, Survive. It's an isekai, science fiction isekai. It's by Fiddle Soup. Book one is done. Hopefully he'll get it. It'll get published in real format, which means physical book. And that's cool. And that goes back to the Immersive Ink battle where PopPop was thought to be a bot, but wasn't. And tomorrow, Magical Engineering comes out, and that's by Buttopia or BTtopia, another Immersive Ink guy. So that's another one that made it off of Immersive Ink and Railroad into reality. So
It's
pay
amazing.
attention.
Yeah, it's amazing how many people from Royal Road are starting to like get out there and get published. I was at a table at Dragon Con with Alora Lee, who writes Sad Girl Magic. It's called Otherworldly, which is absolutely incredible. And while I was there, I ran into half of the people who started off around the same time as me on Royal Road, and they were all like, "Hey, it's finally it's nice to finally put a face to the name." And I mean, I was like Jay, I didn't have anything for my face up for the first year of publishing, maybe.
Mhm.
And then I did my big face reveal and started doing all these interviews, and it's been amazing. So Jay's gonna have to do an interview with you and take his helmet off, I guess.
I won't let him wear the helmet. Simple as that.
Good. You shouldn't.
So, yep. So if you go and you buy books 1, 2, and 3 now, what does it still say SourPatchHero on the covers of those 3, or is it going over to Tommy Kerper, aka SourPatchHero?
So it has all been switched over to Tommy Kerper, aka SourPatchHero. So if you have one that says just SourPatchHero, those are the first editions, as I'm calling them. But
I'll sell mine for thousands of dollars.
There are, I believe that Amazon still had a bunch printed out. So like I ordered a bunch for myself so that I could sell them. And I got half of them said Sour Patch still. So, I mean, luck of the draw where you are in the country, you might get a first edition, you might get the new one that says Tommy, but either way, you get the fun story inside. Yeah, there you go.
Simple as that.
Yeah.
Book 4 does have Tommy Kerper on it. So
yeah, I think I've got that one.
Yep, that's it. That's a big sword that guy has. Wait, I didn't say that. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Anything else? Are we done? Are we good? What do you want to talk about, Tommy? We're a little bit over time, but I don't care. I'm not as anal as Rec is when it comes to being over time, or
Is that why? Yeah. So Runny Bunny is asking, is that why Shirtaloon is Shirtaloon? Yeah. So Travis started on Royal Road as well. He did the pen name Shirtaloon. And when he did his audiobooks at first, I believe he was also just Shirtaloon. And it wasn't until he had some success that he went and did Travis Deverell, aka Shirtaloon. And when I signed with Podium, they were like, "Do you want to do your name or do you want to do your pen name Sour Patch?" And I was like, "I'm gonna stick with SourPatchHero because I'm a lawyer and you can Google me and find like I don't want opposing counsel or some claimant to be able to find my fantasy book that I'm writing. Not that I'm embarrassed by it, but it's like I don't want to mix those two worlds until I quit my job. And then I was like, I mean,
man,
at
what's the
this
matter?
point, yeah, who cares? So that's why I finally was like, hey, can we do the change? They're like, yeah, Travis did it eventually. You can too. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
let's do it.
And there are some that still don't.
Yeah.
Some
There's
that, some people will keep their pen name just because, they might have a little bit of spice in their book and they don't want that to be affecting their real life persona.
yeah.
So
That's what Jay's gonna do when he writes Dragon Daddy. He's gonna use he's gonna write a spicy book and he's gonna
isn't
use
he
a
using
pen
his
name.
brother's name?
Hmm?
Isn't he using his brother's name for that?
Yeah, that's what he says, but we'll see. He's
Yeah,
not even
ebooks
paying
are always
attention.
easier for the spicy things, Jay. They don't have to worry about formatting as much. Or at least Royal Guard does all the formatting for them because they know how to do it. So, not a dig. I love everybody. You know that. You have to start it, Tommy.
Yeah, I'm not sure that I can write as fast as Jay, so he'll have to start that up and maybe I'll throw a few ideas his way for the plot.
What plot? It's a Dragon Daddy porn novel. What the heck? Why is there a plot?
I mean, you gotta have some plot. Something's gonna go on.
Maybe they're just, different phases of music in the audio that, fast beat, slower beat, just I don't know. It's
I'll
not
come up
something.
with the plot. Jay writes it and writes down the spicy scenes.
There you go. That's
Yeah.
that's a good deal for that to work. I don't want your notes. um I am I think I'm okay right now. Oh, by the way, if you notice who's up there, you can there's your obsidian person,
Haylock.
Haylock up there, and there's Jay, which you're in the gap. That's where I took your books from, but you're running out of space. Because
Well,
Jay is taking over things, and
yeah.
I don't want to move Haylock yet.
No,
So
leave Haylock there. It's fine. I mean, hey, I made the shelf. I don't care where on the shelf I'm at. So
you're up there,
put,
and say I can't touch those. Those are all Gim's educational type books. I'm not allowed to touch that.
you're
Yeah,
gonna need more bookshelves.
I do. I have one. But you know what happens if I do that? I have to shift over. I have to get rid of that. I always show that. I always do my Slayerable. I don't want to get rid of my Slayerable wall. That's my disc plate where I'm gonna put Jay's covers up on my disc plates when I start making them, and I'm gonna do a disc plate with Hunter Mythos's covers. Which, speaking of which, Hunter Mythos has a book coming out this week, book 4 of Overpowered Wizard, I believe it is. Um, Apocalypse Breaker 3 is out by Aaron Renfro and Sean Oswald. I am sitting down with James A. Hunter, the Ink Slinger, this Thursday at 8 o'clock. I cannot wait for that. I most likely will not have my real imitation Versace bathrobe because I don't see anything moving towards me from Shadow Alley Press yet. But oh well. I did get a Christmas present for my daughter from Mountaindale.
Mm-hmm.
That arrived today. I was very
Nice.
thankful for that. I did not have a discount coupon. I sent an email. Hey, this is PopPop. Can I get a discount? He's getting 20%. Okay, fine. And I ordered it and I got here. I also have some other things coming. So hopefully we'll have all those. See those, the books up there.
Mm-hmm.
My son-in-law read all mine. He wants to know when 8's coming out. And he says, well, I'm going to have to borrow your books again to read them ahead of time. I don't know why people reread books because I
I'm the
can't.
same way.
I can't.
I do. I do.
You
When I
reread
started,
them?
mm-hmm, and if I so like I'm currently reading Jay's books, and when I know that when I get up to book 7, which I think he's almost finished with book 8, Jay,
I
I'm
think he's on
gonna if I
12.
read if I, well, I mean for Wody, as soon as I finish that one, if I read anything else before I read book 8, I will have to reread all of them. But I mean, when I sit down, I'll probably just stay up one night and read like 2 or 3 of his books. It's fine. But mine are a little longer, so I can
Yeah.
read his quicker.
Wow. Wow, Jab. Did you get that one, Jay? Yeah, so
Yeah.
he won't have to borrow mine after Christmas. So he'll, I did spend money on some good lit RPG books for my daughter and my son-in-law.
Yeah, I'm getting all of my D&D friends who read Dungeon Crawler Carl are asking me if I can send Matt a message and ask him when book 8 is going to be done. And I'm like, listen, we're friends, but you don't ask friends that kind of question.
No,
Like, no.
go on his
He can write
Patreon.
it. Yeah, he can write it at whatever pace he needs to. That man is everywhere right now. So go for it. You know?
I did have a video go viral. The glurp glurp video has over 33,000 views on my
Jesus.
TikTok channel.
It's amazing. It's so fun watching you blow up and be doing this and getting all of these people to do interviews. I was like, yeah, of course. As soon as you asked.
Jared, the long-winded one, has an amazing season scheduled.
Oh yeah.
And he did
I'm
really
so
well last
excited.
night. So I will be watching all of those. I still need to read book 1 of DCC. Book 1? Come on, that's like one of the coolest books out there, out of them all. They're all great. They're all good. They all have their benefits. They all have their highlights that just add to the story.
But I mean, you say lit RPG. If people know what lit RPG is, it's
Because
usually because Dungeon Crawler Carl.
well,
Because
that's
it's
just. I
exploded.
mean, I read Travis Baldree. I read Legends and Latte back in 2024, and mainly because that's a really cool cover. I love that cover for the hardback. And I love the story. I had no idea who Travis Baldree was, none whatsoever, because I didn't know anything. I spent 20 years ignoring game lit books, Travis, Hickman and, all Warhammer, just stupid, really stupid. Why would you do that? Why would you, Salvatore? No, just never did it. So I had no idea about any of that. I had no idea what Travis was in terms of game development and whatnot, but I just liked the book. And then I walked into BAM in January, and they had all the Ace, the 3 Ace books up on the top shelf, screaming in ADHD bold colors, and said, "Buy me!" And I did, and then I went down the hole. So,
yeah, I started Dungeon Crawler Carl late comparatively to in lit RPG. I read a lot of lit RPG before I found it, but I still found it, 2024 sometime, I want to say, and blew through them. And again, it's one of those series where I finished reading the series. I'll read something else. He'll come up with another one, and I'll read all of them all over again up to wherever.
maybe.
But I mean, I do that with He Who Fights with Monsters. I'm still doing that with Primal Hunter.
I have to read more of Primal Hunter. I got to book 1, didn't do book 2 yet because I've been doing other stuff. The problem with He Who Fights with Monsters, I'm not so keen on the Cloud Castle hanging out at the beginning of book 2. I don't know if that is good, bad, or indifferent.
Yeah. I mean, I very rarely do not finish a book or put down a story, because to me, I like all stories. I can literally name like 2 books that I would never read again, and they're both classical books that people love that I'm just I hate. But fantasy, any kind of magic system, I'm like, this is a cool story that somebody, poured their heart into, and I want to hear it. I've always loved stories, and that's, I mean, it's part of the reason I became a lawyer. During one of my first interviews at a law firm, they're like, "Why did you become a lawyer?" It's like, because I love stories and I love puzzles, and that's what law is. It's just somebody's story in a puzzle and figuring out where the pieces go. and I got hired for that job with that answer. So I mean, it must have been said something right.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, stories are incredible, and that's why, I mean, once I start one, I usually go all the way through, unless I've just started reading the first one and I'm bouncing around to 10 different stories. Um, and that's why Jay gives me all this grief, but I'm gonna blast through his story, all of his 7, 8, 9, however many he's got done by the end of this year. I'm looking forward to December as my reading month.
There
And
you
then I
go.
can get back to, Azrath Healer and oh, there's something else out there. I can't remember off the top of my head though.
Oh, I have just so many out there to want to read, and a lot of what I do is, there's no reason for me to go out and blast the quote unquote classics or the OGs, because everybody knows the OGs are awesome and amazing and this, that, and the other thing. I will go and look for the up and comers, the newbie, the first shots, even though, Shadow Alley Press picked up Alex Karn's, magic cube murder, Marine. Awesome book, fun book, absurd book. So I will look for those types of books. I couldn't resist. I wanted to get Hallowed Bones. It's a good solid progression type book.
Yeah.
Kamatoans, Rise of a Monster. Oh my God, I can't wait to get him on an interview next week, and actually for me to do my review. The book is amazing. It was awesome. It the first Monster Evolution book I read. It's so cool, and it's a great take. And I will go look for those. Big Man Smash. No idea what it's going to be. I saw it. It looks good. I got it. I'm going to read it. I mean, just because.
But that's what's so great about this genre. I mean, you saw it at the con. The support from the top down. Like when I first started writing I'm Not the Hero, and I was a nobody, and I got like 5 followers or something on Royal Road, I reached out to Rhaegar and Senec Soul and Shirtaloon and sent the messages on Royal Road, and they responded. I was like, "Hey guys, you have any advice for a new up and coming author? Anything that you?" And I mean, I have those messages printed out because they
Yeah.
were incredibly wonderful in their responses. Like really good advice, like pace yourself, don't burn yourself out, ignore the negative comments that aren't productive to your writing process. Like, nothing groundbreaking, but it was nice to hear from somebody who I respected. So like
Mhm.
I've had a little bit of success now. I mean, I'm doing this full time, which is why, as soon as anybody reaches out and they're like, "Hey, I'm writing a story and I have some questions." I'm like, "Yeah, I will take 10 minutes out of my day and send you a message, because that's awesome." I respond to every single person who comments on my page, or who sends me messages on my Patreon, my Discord. If somebody tags me, I will stop and it's that paying it forward. It's the whole community, like the family thing that everybody was talking about at the con. This
Yeah.
is our tribe. We found it, and we
Yep.
were going to continue to blast those amazing authors that we find along the way. So I love that you're doing this and finding all of the new ones too. It's going to be so much fun to watch.
They're so good. And just wait. I have some more, and there's I have some interviews lined up already with more of them. So hopefully, and I really don't care about the number of people that watch me at that time, because I can always, blast it, edit it, and get them out to where they need to be. Yeah. So,
Plus, it'll be nice when you get to LitRPG, when you get to Denver this year, and you're like, "Hey, I've got a podcast. You guys should all go listen to it." And everybody has a backlog of 30, however many interviews you get in the next 6 months, 7 months
that's
done.
right.
Yeah.
Yep. And I'll do them out there as well if they let me. So we shall see what happens there. We're going to go because I have stuff I have to do before the end of the day. I have to finish a goddamn book and then text you bad things in an hour or two. And again, Thursday, James A. Hunter, Discount Dan, Cul-de-sac Carnage. Third book is going to be Kiosk Kingdom. I love that series, and I have to go and read. I'm going to read Vigil's Justice as something to get an idea of more about what James writes. So that I'm going to start up as well if I'm not forced to read the book with the fish on it, and go from there. Tommy, Sour Patch, thank you for coming to visit me. I will see you in July. If you come to Florida, let us know.
Okay.
It's not far.
That's not.
It depends, if we can avoid I-4, if we can go up 429 and hang a right and get up that way, we can always do that as well. Love to see you guys.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
Okay.
All right. It was a fun crucifixion.
Jay, use that. God, but I want royalties, goddammit. It'll be a fun crucifixion. Do it. All right, guys, thank you for joining us. Good night, Jay Krause, author. Good night,
Bye,
BJ.
guys.
Good night, everybody. All right, we're going to hang up now. I have to do this twice because Brian always yells at me because I don't do it right. Where's my mouse? God damn it, boomers. There you go. Woohoo. Have a great night, everybody. And now we're off. Okay, there.